Hi everyone! In this video I'm going to show you how to make a Word document accessible. In other words, how to make the content easy to perceive and navigate by people with various types and degrees of disability. I'm using Office 365, but it should be similar in other versions of Word. We'll look at the following topics: images, colors, headings, spacing, links, and tables. Here's an example document. This is a shortened version of a syllabus for my class. It doesn't look too bad. Most people who can perceive visual design should have no problem reading or finding information in it. We've already got a good start. The text size is 12, which is a good size for reading. There is enough spacing between rows, it's not cluttered, and the content is organized in headings, subheadings, bullet points, and so on. However, people who use screen readers or have less than perfect sight or color vision would have some problems. Let's first have a look at the Microsoft Word Accessibility Checker. Go to File, Check for Issues, check Accessibility. The checker spots some problems. The graphics don't have alternative text, they are also not in line, and there are several instances of insufficient contrast. The checker is a great tool, but it doesn't see all the problems, so in general it's best to have an idea of the main accessibility issues and how to fix them. Let's start with the images. All graphics need to have an alternative text, or alt text in short. That is text describing an image, which can be read by a screen reader. These days, when you first insert a picture, Word automatically generates a description which you can see and edit. If you're editing an older document, you can add alt text by right-clicking the image, then edit alt text. It's good to keep the description short and concise. Of course, if you're describing a complex graphic like a chart, you will have a longer description. In this case, I will write headshot of the instructor. The other graphic is this rectangle under the title. For images that are just ornaments, tick the box Mark as decorative. This way, the screen reader will know to ignore it. The accessibility checker also said that my images are not in line. This can make it hard for a screen reader to navigate the content. To fix it, right-click on the image, go to Wrap Text, and select In Line with Text. For my picture, this means that I cannot keep my layout, so I will move it under the text to make it look better. Colors need to have enough contrast to be read easily by anyone. Default colors, black and white, have great contrast, but we often want to include other colors in our documents. In my example, I have some green headings and some red text, and both of these were flagged by the accessibility checker as having low contrast. There are many websites where you can check the contrast of color pairs. I like this one at Level Access because I can input the RGB values, which is what Word shows me. So if I select my text, go to Text Color, and click More Colors, Custom, I can get the RGB values and check them. In this case, on a white background, which is 255, 255, 255. There are two settings, one for less than 18 points and one for 18 points or larger, or 14 points and bold. My text is 18, so let's check the second one. You can see that this combination is not even at AA level. Let's go back to Word and make the color a bit darker. According to the accessibility checker, this is now okay. But let me double check with the online tool. You can see that it is now level AA compliant, but in many contests such as universities, we aim for AAA. So let's go even darker. And there you go. Now we have enough contrast, so I'll go with that. I'm not going to change the other headings for now, because we will change them all in the next section. My document also has some red text. We can fix this the same way. We have an additional problem here. It's not a good idea to use only color to convey meaning, because some people may be colorblind. So, to emphasize a word or sentence, also make it bold or italics, or even better, make use of one of the options in the styles box, like emphasis or strong, and then add your own style. You can also install a tool like the Color Contrast Analyzer to help you check and adjust your colors. It also has a color blindness simulator, which is useful when your design contains combinations of multiple colors. Even though I made my headings and titles stand out through visual design, a screen reader doesn't know what they are. Marking them properly will let screen reader users skim the content and understand its organization easily. To do that, we need to use the Styles feature. First, select the text. Then, in the Home tab, go to the Styles box and pick the style. In this case, I will choose Title. As you can see, it changes what your text looks like, but you can then style it any way you want. Let's do the headings. Instructor information is the first level, so it will be a heading 1. Select the text, then click heading 1. Do the same for all first level headings. Now, to change what they look like, select one of them, change the style. In my case, I want them to be Arial 18 green. Then in the Styles box, right-click heading 1 and select Update heading 1 to match selection. This changes all my heading 1 text to the desired style. Now I can do the same for heading 2. Select text, change to heading 2, change the style, update to match selection. As you can see, my document looks the same, but now it is screen reader friendly thanks to the structural formatting. One more thing we can do to increase accessibility is to remove unnecessary spaces. So instead of adding empty lines, use the paragraph settings to adjust the spacing. Select the text or place the cursor on the line you wish to change, click on the little arrow in the paragraph box, and adjust the before and after settings. For heading 1, I will make it 24 points before and 12 after. Now, apply it to all the headings the same way we did before by selecting the text and updating heading 1 to match selection. Do the same for heading 2, let's say 20 before and 14 after. Update, and now remove all the empty lines. We can do the same for paragraphs. In this case, I'm not going to match the styles because it would change the color and everything. So it's best if you set this up when you first create a document. Links need to include meaningful text rather than the URL. A screen reader may read the URL one letter at a time, which is not very helpful. Additionally, descriptive links help both screen reader users and sighted users skim the document to get an idea of the content or find specific information. To make a link descriptive, right-click on it and choose Edit Hyperlink. Change the text to display to something meaningful, in this case, Blackboard Help for Students. Now everyone knows immediately where the link is sending them. Alternatively, type your text in first, then select it, right-click and choose Link. Now you can paste in the address. If you think this document will be printed, you may want to put the URL in brackets after the descriptive text, so people can see the link and type it in if needed. Tables can also cause some trouble to screen reader users. The main rule is to keep them simple and avoid split cells, merged cells, and nested tables. Another thing you can do is to have a designated header row. To do that, select the row, right-click, and select Table Properties. In the Row tab, check Repeat as Header Row at the top of each page, and uncheck Allow Row to break across pages. You can also go to the Alt Text tab and write a title and a description. Now you can see that the header row appears on the next page, which really helps all users, but also a screen reader will be able to navigate the data better. Once you've ensured accessibility on all these aspects, they will all be preserved when you turn your Word document into a PDF. You can simply save as and choose PDF, or if you want to double check, from the File tab, go to Export, Create PDF, Options, and make sure Document Structure Tags for Accessibility is checked. So these are the main things you can do to make your document accessible. Thanks for watching.